Hi friends, welcome back. So headline, nearly a third of home sellers are cutting prices as housing supply balloons in these areas. And I think this is a really important headline because, as I talked about before several times on the channel, if we want to cool inflation, we got to be cooling shelter prices. So home prices, rents, these kind of things. This also comes at a time when in China, home prices are going down. So will we keep seeing further declines in home prices around the world? I think many markets are a bubble. I made a video just about this recently. We talked about this, and people were talking about UK, Australia, etc. Many places are in a bubble, and I go, guys, I know how it feels. You drive around your neighborhood, and you're like, oh my God, who can afford said prices? It's absolutely nuts. Evidently, right? A third of the listings are coming down in price. So where is this happening in the USA? So it says here 47 out of 50 metropolitan areas in the US basically saw price cuts. And I'm talking about houses again. And the biggest annual ones were in Tampa, in Jacksonville, and then Denver, Colorado. So Florida and Colorado. And I knew Denver's been in a bubble, but I think the bigger bubble is probably in Florida. Also, it says here the ones that had like a lot of price cuts. So these are the biggest cuts are in these cities here: Tampa, Jacksonville, Denver, and then places where they had a lot of cuts would be like your Austin. So like the Texas area, they say Round Rock, Georgetown. That's all in Texas. I think it's the Austin area probably. I don't know the neighborhoods in Austin, but I'm assuming that's what it is. Also, this is here Denver, Aurora, Lakewood. That's in Colorado. So I think that's probably the Denver metropolitan area. And then the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater area in Florida. So, you guys comment if you live in any of these neighborhoods, if you feel like home prices are coming down a bit. It's not going to be every single one, right? But essentially, you can see the national numbers like, okay, a third of listings are coming down in price. And then these are the ones where you have a larger percentage of coming down and then the biggest declines. You also have here more evictions. I saw that. So what do all these things tell you? I mean, it tells you like, okay, there's not enough buyers that want to pay high prices, and then the evictions say there's actually people out there who can't even pay the stuff that they're in now. This is interesting because it comes at a time we're talking about what's been going on recently with the Trump rally shooting. You guys know the assassination attempt. Bitcoin has been spiking lately in the crypto markets because the prediction, at least according to the crypto markets, is that Trump victory will be good for crypto, and also predicting a Trump victory. So, we still got a while to go. You never know what can happen in this kind of stuff. But yes, Bitcoin has been going up. Trump is seen as being friendly to crypto. I think, who knows? But I'll just say this. Trump does have his own NFTs. So I guess out of all the presidential candidates out there, I think he's the only one with NFTs. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if any other politicians have NFTs except for Trump. I remember it was announced, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or something like that. We talked about it where Trump's campaign was saying, hey, we'll take political donations through crypto. For real. And I remember people started writing comments, oh, okay, now you're probably going to get international money somehow or whatever. So who knows? But yes, he does have NFTs, and you can get your mugshot edition of Trump NFTs. So I guess this would be definitely friendly to crypto compared to other candidates. If you want Terminator Trump, Gold Trump, or Cowboy Trump, I guess they can all be yours. Your mugshot edition. This is real. Going back. I know whenever we bring this up, it's just like, is this real? Yeah, I guess it is. And I didn't even mention the gold shoes. I mentioned the gold shoes now. He was selling gold shoes at one point. That was Trump. Also, too, what's going on here is BlackRock's jumping on the crypto bandwagon. Larry Fink, he says, Bitcoin, quote, is a legitimate financial instrument. Okay, so we see BlackRock's on board. I guess Trump's on board. And okay, now we're all going into crypto. I will say this. You'll know the world has gone completely bananas if Warren Buffett comes out and says, guys, you got to have crypto in your portfolio. If he says that, man, all bets are off. If you see me say that, which I never say that, I'm just not into this stuff. I'm not. And I know this is reality. I know if I said, guys, I love crypto, these are my favorite altcoins, etc., I'd be a real popular channel on YouTube. That is pandering to your audience, right? I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But people on Wall Street do, right? People into these kind of things that just want to, how can you want to say it? Reach clients who want to gamble with their money. Or, this is real. Like you'll have some whatever client and they're like looking at the internet and they're like, oh my God, did you hear about this new, DeFi crypto thing? I need to get into it. Or did you hear about this Ethereum thing? And they call up their asset manager, and the asset manager's like, well, we're not really into that. And they're like, I want to get into that. Help me get into that, or I'm going to pull my accounts. And okay, fine, we'll look into it, right? And then, it is what it is. So I'm not into this stuff, but other people are, and the markets are going up due to a possible Trump victory. Also, too, Goldman Sachs, they did their earnings today. I guess their profits are going up. They doubled revenue, but I think it was up like 17%, something like that. And they're expecting or hoping, we'll say hoping, expecting, however you want to put it, that there'll be more mergers and acquisitions going forward. So Goldman is still making money. Blackrock is in crypto. And the hope on Wall Street is the Fed is going to be cutting, I think, maybe September. So we'll see. Powell came out, this is the Fed chair. He came out and was like, well, just make sure we keep going. Interest rates in the downward, not interest rates, but the inflation in the downward path. We don't necessarily have to wait for inflation to hit 2%. We may start cutting early if we see the data the way that we like it. That's what's going on with that. I wouldn't necessarily get too excited about it. Someone wrote in a comment yesterday, which I thought was a really astute comment. Even if they lower by 0.25% and maybe saves you $100 on your mortgage, something like that, is that really going to be enough to alleviate the effects of inflation, right? For some people, they're going to need a lot more help than that, and that's the real trick, because there are people out there struggling, right? Wall Street, they just need some sort of narrative to hold on to, or the people who are in commercial real estate who are underwater, they need as much relief as they can. The issue is, though, is like we still got to get inflation under control. So that's why when you see the housing prices cooling, it is a good sign in terms of that. And then going forward in terms of the market, as companies start to report earnings this week, next week, and I think next couple of weeks. I think Tesla is coming up soon, maybe next week, I think is what it is. We'll talk about that, but essentially this game is all about how much money did you bring in before? What do you think is going on in the future, and are you going to bring in more money or not? Regarding that, it's interesting. There was a fascinating chart and story regarding Disney, and Disney's always a fun one to talk about. And I know some people got these really strong opinions of Disney, and it was interesting because when I was reading through this, I can kind of see the issue with Disney. And read the headline here: Disney has a kid crisis. Basically, there's less children in the world. There is, but also on top of that, children aren't really watching traditional media. It's not just Disney, right? So some people say, oh, it's all Disney and their content won't grow broke. That's what some people say, but actually it's not actually that. If you put it together, it's really more the rise of streaming. So kids these days, and this is like what kids are watching, they're watching YouTube, right? So after YouTube comes Netflix, then you got Disney, then you got Prime Video and Peacock, HBO Max, but still the market share even for YouTube is what, 23%. So they don't even necessarily have a dominant viewership of kids. It was a different time, for Disney, say in the 50s, 60s, like these kind of eras, because there wasn't that many choices and all kids dream of going to Disneyland. I grew up in the 80s and they used to run these things where after the Super Bowl, they ask the whatever quarterback, hey, well, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do? Oh, I want to go to Disneyland. And it would be like everyone, quarterback or the NBA star like Jordan. What are you going to do? I'm going to go to Disneyland, right? National Baseball, Major League Baseball, that is. Now, these days, I don't know if kids dream of going to Disneyland. I just don't. I don't know. I'm not a kid in USA. It may just have different meanings to them. Because like, for example, for a while, Mickey Mouse was like a really popular character, but these days, Disney, like their popular characters are more like Toy Story, it's something like that. And the other thing too, regarding say, remember Disney, they bought Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Marvel stuff. Like the superheroes are more popular than Mickey. So I think kids today would probably know Iron Man and Spider-Man over Mickey. And then the issue is you run is that it's a different audience when you're talking about Marvel, because then you're trying to appeal to a bunch of people that grew up with that stuff, which is be my generation. I grew up with the comics. I read all these things, and what they need to do is figure out franchises that the young kids, that's like a kid character, right? That's what I meant, like a Goofy, a Disney, a Donald. I grew up with this stuff. I watch DuckTales, guys. I'm all about DuckTales. DuckTales. I remember okay. I don't remember the song of DuckTales. I apologize. But here and there, isn't that one? In the Ventures Beyond Compare. There's a no. Which one is that one? I'm getting it wrong. DuckTales. Okay. You guys can tell me. I might have this wrong, right? And I could probably look it up, but I'm trying to figure out DuckTales song. So I do know DuckTales is Scrooge McDuck. He's a dive around in the gold and swim around it. And there were three, the cousins. Was the cousins? Is the nephews of Donald. And then wasn't there like a big fat one too? We're talking about DuckTales. And then Chippendales used to be a show. But anyway, when I was a kid, Disney was more important. And the generation before me, they used to watch Disney. But the generation today, it's I think they're watching Marvel, but not DuckTale per se. And then the question would be, could Disney theoretically buy some sort of new franchise or something like that? Because the thing is, I was thinking about this, and when they mentioned YouTube, like who's the biggest person on YouTube would be Mr. Beast. And just a couple of days ago, Mr. Beast is this thing with a bunch of YouTubers. They do some sort of thing, and they think the winners get Cybertrucks. For real. And my wife made a joke, because she pointed out to me, she saw it on YouTube first. She's like, hey, did you see this thing? And I looked at it for a minute, and I was like, God, they use a bunch of scammers from YouTube. Because some of these, like I think Logan Paul's in this thing, and a couple others are scammers from YouTube. Basically, what YouTube did is they just picked the biggest YouTubers out there and put them all together, and that's what kids watch. So this is the popular content on YouTube is Mr. Beast. I honestly, I don't watch this stuff. My wife and I, we tried to watch like a couple minutes of this thing. It's not, we're not the target for it. This is what kids are watching, right? So if you're curious what kids are watching, it's like Mr. Beast stuff. And if you wonder why the content's so dumb, it's for kids. It's what it's for. So, can Disney produce Mr. Beast kind of content? Maybe. I mean, maybe. Who knows? But it is what it is. So that's. This is the kind of stuff you track when you're watching like what companies are doing, like who are the demographics, what do the demographics want, can companies sell things to said demographics, right? That's what you're looking at, and this is sort of also too you're talking about, and why we talk about other countries, where is their opportunity? So we know China is slowing, right, with the housing crisis over there, plus the home prices decline. And the GDP numbers just came out recently for China, and it's slowing. It was under projection. I think the projection was 5.3. It came in at 5.7, and then retail sales were down. China's not as important as it once was to Apple, because now they're like really trying to get the growth in India. Because if you are investing in stocks like that, if you're in growth stocks, you want companies that are growing. So evidently, it says here, Apple's India sales surged 30%. In record shift from China, and I still got that DuckTales song in my mind. So if you guys can sing the DuckTales song, I keep thinking it's Adventures Beyond Compare. No, is that DuckTales? I can't remember. It had a really memorable song, but I can't remember. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. I do know Transformers is more than meets the eye, and I know that G.I. Joe is got to get tough, Yo Joe, and knowing is half the battle. I know this stuff. So it's just I haven't seen it for a while. I can sing the X-Men song. They just had the new X-Men song. Na 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 na. Okay, and next to X-Men is actually part of Disney Plus. That new X-Men show is pretty good. I like that one, and my wife liked that one too. They did a remake of the old one. So get me talking about cartoons. And if you like the X-Men new show, you can write in the comments. I thought the last couple of episodes were a little bit disappointing, but overall I thought it was a fun show. Anyway, so talk about Apple's India sales, up 33%. You can see right here, it's growing. And it's interesting because they have a long ways to grow if they try to capture market share over there. I was looking at this. It says here iPhones make up 3.5% of the country, talking about in India. So where will Apple's market share go? The problem is that they're competing with cheap Chinese phones, and it's funny because when we say cheap, it's not cheap in quality. The quality is fine on the Chinese phones coming out. Huawei's, your was it like OnePlus, another one of theirs, and Xiaomi. Quality's fine, and especially for like a developing market. That they're going to want a low-cost phone. So, for example, the iPhone, the Indian market will probably want more like the iPhone SE. It's the cheaper version. But guys, these days, any modern phone is fine. It's got a camera, it's got a screen, it's going to work fine. Obviously, the better phones are going to be faster, etc. And latest and greatest. But for just a regular person, if you want to surf the web on a phone, I know for kids growing up with stuff, you think that's normal, but it's not. I grew up with when we had to do the old rotary things and watch DuckTales and call your friend on the phone and say, hey, do you want to come over and watch DuckTales? And why can't I think the name of the way that song goes? Please let me know. I'm sure I got the song wrong, but anyway, do appreciate your time, everyone. And I know it's fun to talk about DuckTales and finance at the same time. So thanks again, and catch you all in the next video.